Ever since Yellowstone, the world has been obsessed with that raw, modern Western energy power struggles, dangerous loyalties, and characters who operate on their own rules. And now, it feels like that same pulse is coming back, but this time, it's not on a sprawling ranch. Instead, the new spin-off Blood Aces takes us straight into the heart of Las Vegas. A city built on risk, ambition, and chaos. From the moment you see the trailer, you can feel that tension, the kind that makes you sit forward in your seat, gripping the edge of what's coming next. This isn't just a story about gambling or money. It's about the people who bend rules, break them, and build empires from sheer cunning and relentless drive. At the center of it all is Benny Bingan, a man whose life is a whirlwind of ambition, risk, and moral ambiguity. He's not your classic hero, and that's exactly what makes him so fascinating. From small-time hustler in Texas to someone shaping the Vegas we know today, Benny's rise is full of danger, strategy, and relentless power plays. And let's not forget the names attached to this project: Hauser and Sylvester Stallone. Hauser, who already gave us Rip in Yellowstone, fits this story perfectly, embodying the grit and complexity of a man who will do anything to rise. Stallone, meanwhile, brings his unmatched charisma and experience, someone who understands how to translate high-stakes tension to the screen. These two aren't just actors. They're part of a team that already understands the pulse of the Western modern crossover, and it shows in the trailer. Every line, every glance, every moment in this teaser feels loaded with anticipation, almost daring you to look away. Even though Blood Aces isn't officially connected to Taylor Sheridan, the influence is unmistakable. There's that same layered storytelling, that careful mix of morality and lawlessness, that keeps you guessing who will survive, who will win, and who will betray. The story itself, drawn from Doug J. Swanson's book, gives the series a real-world anchor, blending historical depth with edge-of-your-seat drama. From Benny's early days running underground gambling in Texas to his eventual dominance in Las Vegas, the narrative is packed with twists, rivalries, and deals that are as dangerous as they are strategic. And the trailer teases all of this in a way that's almost cinematic. Every shot, every line, every glance suggests a story that isn't just about power but about how far someone will go when the stakes are everything. There's a tension here that Yellowstone fans will immediately recognize, but Blood Aces promises to amplify it, taking the energy of the modern Western and thrusting it into neon-lit streets, casinos, and back rooms where loyalty is fragile and ambition can kill. As the trailer unfolds, you start to realize that this isn't just about a man building an empire. It's about watching a force of nature move through a city in its formative years, shaping it through sheer will, risk, and ruthlessness. The way Benny manipulates, strategizes, and sometimes outright fights for what he wants gives the story a constant momentum that's impossible to ignore. And while the show promises to be thrilling, it's also deeply human. Benny is ambitious, but flawed. He's visionary, but ruthless. That duality is what makes the trailer so magnetic. You're drawn to watch, wondering not just what he will do next, but if he can survive the world he's creating around himself. And speaking of survival, the supporting characters hinted at in the trailer add another layer of allies and unseen forces all circling Benny, testing his limits, his choices, and his morality. There's a rhythm to it, a tension that escalates with each moment, reminding you why the Western modern genre hooked audiences in the first place. The trailer doesn't just sell a show. It promises an experience, a dive into ambition, danger, and the raw human desire to control destiny. All wrapped in a city that is itself a character. Every frame teases the complexity of Las Vegas in its formative years, the kind of dangerous playground where fortunes are made and lost, alliances shift like sand, and power isn't given, it's taken. And the way Hauser carries Benny, embodying both charm and menace, sets the stage for something truly epic. You can feel Stallone's fingerprints in the production too, the pacing, the intensity, the anticipation of what happens next. It's all carefully crafted to keep you hooked from start to finish. Blood Aces isn't just a spin-off. It feels like a rebirth of the modern Western, transplanted into a world where ambition is everything, trust is rare, and every move could be your last. And if the trailer is any indication, this series isn't just going to satisfy fans of Yellowstone. It's going to take them on a ride that's darker, more thrilling, and full of suspense at every turn. What really makes Blood Aces so captivating is the journey of Benny Bingan himself. Because he's not a simple character, you can't just label him as a hero or a villain. From the trailer, you can already see hints of his complexity. The way he moves through the world with ambition in his eyes, calculating every move, every risk. Benny starts small, hustling in the Texas underworld, operating in ways most people would never dare to think about. He's doing things like underground gambling and even forklift horse trading. Small schemes that at first seem insignificant, but each step is part of a larger plan, a slow build toward something massive. What's fascinating about this part of his story is that you see the raw grit in him, the way he navigates danger, finds opportunity, and learns to survive in a world where everyone else has their own agenda. And that's where the trailer really shines. You don't just see a man winning or losing money, you see him testing limits, making connections, and slowly building influence. Every glance and every gesture in the trailer suggests a man who knows how to measure people, who understands the value of trust, but also the inevitability of betrayal. You get the sense that every interaction Benny has, whether with allies, rivals, or those trying to take him down, is layered with strategy, tension, and stakes that could destroy him at any moment. And then there's the move to Las Vegas, which the trailer teases in a way that's absolutely electrifying. Vegas isn't just a backdrop, it's a living, breathing character in the story. Back then, it wasn't the fully built-out city we know today. It was rough, growing, and filled with opportunity for someone like Benny. Someone willing to take risks that most people wouldn't even consider. You can already feel the scale of what's coming, the shift from small-time hustler in Texas to the power plays and dangerous alliances in Las Vegas. The trailer hints at casinos, underground deals, and a world that's as seductive as it is lethal. And the way the story frames Benny's rise makes it clear that this isn't a clean empire. He's not a saint. And the people he surrounds himself with aren't saints either. Violence, cunning, and moral gray areas dominate every decision, and that's what makes this series feel alive. You can sense in the trailer that Benny isn't just building wealth. He's building influence, and that influence comes at a cost. Every move he makes has consequences, and you can already feel the tension of what's going to unfold when rivalries escalate and alliances crumble. The trailer also gives a hint of the personal stakes. Benny isn't just playing a game of money. He's playing a game of survival, of dominance, of legacy. And that makes every scene pulsating with suspense, because you know that one wrong move could undo everything he's built. On top of that, the trailer does an incredible job of hinting at the people around Benny, the rivals who will challenge him, the partners he might trust, and the unknown threats lurking in the shadows. Each interaction is charged, each glance loaded with potential betrayal or violence. You can feel that the writers are setting up multiple layers of tension, which is exactly what makes a modern Western so addictive. And while we don't see every detail, the trailer gives you enough to imagine how intricate Benny's world is: high-stakes gambling, illegal operations, personal feuds, and power plays that stretch from small Texas towns all the way to the neon-lit streets of Las Vegas. What's also striking is how the trailer captures Benny's personality. He's ambitious, yes, but he's also ruthless and unapologetic. He knows what he wants, and he's willing to go to extreme lengths to achieve it. That makes him fascinating to watch, because you're never quite sure if he's going to win or lose. Who's going to help him, or who's going to betray him first? And the way Hauser embodies that in the trailer is electric. You can see the combination of charm and danger in every movement, every expression. You feel like this is a man who commands the room without even speaking. And that kind of presence is exactly what makes a character unforgettable. Then there's the suspense built into the trailer itself. It doesn't just throw action at you. It teases, it lingers, it makes you wonder what comes next. The pacing mirrors Benny's world, sometimes measured, sometimes sudden, and always dangerous. You can imagine watching a full episode and feeling that same adrenaline that hits you in the trailer. It's a story about ambition, yes, but it's also about how fragile power can be, how quickly it can turn into danger, and how every decision carries weight. And the historical context, based on a real-life figure, adds even more intensity. This isn't fantasy. It's a look at someone who existed, who made moves that shaped a city, and who had to navigate moral, social, and violent realities just to survive. That tension between reality and storytelling gives the trailer, and ultimately the series, an authenticity that makes it compelling. Every moment you see Benny in action, you're thinking not just about what he's doing, but why, how, and what's coming next. And that's the kind of suspense that keeps viewers glued. It's clear that Blood Aces is setting itself up not just as a spin-off, but as a story that expands the modern Western into new territories, literally and figuratively. And while the trailer focuses on Benny, it also hints at the world around him: the shifting loyalties, the emerging power structures, and the danger that comes with being at the top. You can already sense that the stakes will only grow. The moral questions will deepen, and the tension will build with every episode. And honestly, that's exactly what fans of Yellowstone have been, craving: a world that feels familiar in its grit and intensity, but fresh in its scale, scope, and ambition. Once Benny Bingan moves to Las Vegas, the story escalates in every possible way. The trailer already teases a city alive with opportunity, but also rife with danger, place where ambition can make you or break you overnight. Vegas, in Benny's time, wasn't the polished, glamorous city we know today. It was rough, still finding its footing. And that makes it the perfect backdrop for a story like Blood Aces. Every casino, every underground operation, every backroom deal carries weight, because here, power is the only currency that matters. And Benny, he's a master at reading people, finding leverage, and turning situations in his favor. The trailer hints at his ability to manipulate, to negotiate, and, when necessary, to fight his way through obstacles. It's fascinating because you see a man who's constantly evolving, learning from every win and loss, always thinking several moves ahead. And that's exactly the tension the series promises, the constant sense that at any moment, everything could unravel. The trailer shows glimpses of rivalries forming, hints of alliances that might not last, and the dangerous, seductive world of high-stakes gambling where one misstep could be fatal. Benny's rise in Vegas isn't just about money, it's about influence, reputation, and survival. Every interaction in the trailer, every glance exchanged between characters, suggests a web of power plays that Benny has to navigate carefully. And the suspense isn't just about external threats. It's also about Benny himself. He's ambitious, yes, but he's flawed, reckless, and sometimes ruthless. And that unpredictability adds a layer of tension that makes every moment feel charged. You never know what he's going to do next, or who might turn against him. The trailer also gives us hints of the people around him, rivals with their own ambitions, allies whose loyalty is questionable, and characters whose true intentions are never clear. That dynamic creates a constant sense of suspense, because you're always wondering who Benny can trust, who's going to make the wrong move, and what consequences will follow. And while the story is rooted in history, it doesn't feel like a dry retelling. It's cinematic, tense, and thrilling, with every moment crafted to keep you engaged. You can imagine episodes that balance strategy, action, and drama, showing Benny navigating this dangerous new world while building his empire piece by piece. The trailer captures that perfectly, giving just enough to tease the complexity without revealing too much, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats. Another element that stands out is how the trailer highlights Benny's personality. He's confident, charming, and intimidating all at once. You can feel the charisma that allows him to command attention, negotiate with powerful figures, and manipulate situations in his favor. But there's always a shadow, looming, the ever-present danger that one wrong move could cost him everything. That tension between power and vulnerability is what makes Benny compelling and what keeps viewers hooked. And it's not just Benny who drives the suspense. The world around him amplifies it. Vegas itself, with its neon lights, casinos, and underground dealings, feels alive, dangerous, and unpredictable. The trailer hints at the complexity of this world, showing us that every deal, every bet, every interaction comes with high stakes. You get the sense that nothing in Benny's rise is easy, and that the consequences of failure are immediate and brutal. And that's what makes Blood Aces feel different from a standard Western or historical drama. It's a story about power in a city that is constantly shifting, with characters who are just as dangerous and ambitious as the man at the center of it all. The trailer also teases the scale of Benny's influence, showing glimpses of how his empire begins to take shape and how he navigates rivalries, both small and large. You can see the beginnings of alliances forming, the tension of negotiations, and the subtle manipulations that hint at the lengths he's willing to go to maintain control. And then there's the suspense built into the visual storytelling. The trailer doesn't just rely on dialogue or action, it uses pauses, looks, and timing to create tension, making every moment feel significant. You start to feel the danger, the pressure, and the anticipation building, as if the city itself is testing Benny, challenging him to prove he belongs at the top. The suspense is also heightened by the hints of violence and risk. Benny's world is one where loyalty is fragile, deals can turn deadly, and ambition can be both a weapon and a curse. The trailer hints at these moments without overexposing them, letting viewers imagine the stakes and keeping them invested in every decision Benny makes. And while the trailer primarily focuses on Benny's rise, it also gives a glimpse of the human side of his story, the moments where his ambition collides with morality, where he must make choices that define not just his empire, but who he is as a person. That tension between personal ambition, ethical boundaries, and survival is what makes Blood Aces feel alive, thrilling, and suspenseful. And as the trailer builds toward its final beats, you start to see the scale of what's coming: the empire, the rivals, the alliances, and the risks that will test Benny in ways even he might not be ready for. By the time the trailer ends, you're left with a sense of anticipation, excitement, and a little bit of dread. Wondering how far Benny will go, who will survive, and what Vegas will look like when all is said and done. The energy, the stakes, and the suspense are exactly what make this spin-off feel like it's not just a continuation of the Yellowstone world, but an evolution of it: grittier, higher stakes, and full of surprises at every turn. As Blood Aces moves deeper into Benny Bingan's world, the story becomes even more intense, because it's not just about casinos or money, it's about power, loyalty, and survival in a world where everyone is testing you. The trailer already hints at the stakes, showing that Benny isn't just climbing a ladder. He's navigating a battlefield filled with allies who may betray him, rivals who are just as ambitious, and unseen threats that could end everything in a single moment. What's gripping about this stage of the story is how Benny balances charm with ruthlessness. He has the ability to win people over, form alliances, and negotiate with figures who might otherwise destroy him, but that same ambition makes him a target. Every deal he makes, every risk he takes, is layered with tension, and the trailer teases this perfectly. You see a man who is constantly calculating, who understands that every conversation, every glance, and every handshake could determine whether he thrives or fails. And while the trailer doesn't reveal all the details, it gives enough hints to make you imagine the dangerous games Benny is playing, the subtle manipulations, the hidden threats, and the calculated moves that define him as a modern Western anti-hero. What makes this section of the story so compelling is the moral ambiguity. Benny is ambitious, intelligent, and relentless, but he's also flawed, sometimes violent, and willing to cross lines most people wouldn't dare. The trailer hints at moments where his choices have real consequences, not just for himself, but for everyone around him. Rivals are eliminated, alliances shift, and power is constantly in motion. That unpredictability keeps viewers on edge, because you never know what Benny will do next, or who will betray him first. And then there's the personal dimension. Blood Aces isn't just a story about strategy and empires, it's about the people Benny interacts with and how those relationships influence his decisions. The trailer teases interactions that are intense, charged with tension, and sometimes dangerous. You can see the subtle power struggles between Benny and those around him: friends, enemies, and everyone in between. Each conversation, each deal, carries an undercurrent of suspense, hinting at future conflicts and alliances that might unravel at any moment. This is what makes the story feel alive. The world of Blood Aces is one where nothing is guaranteed, and every move comes with a price.